again, Stacey here. This week, to kick things off, I want to talk about negotiation. I know we talked so much about how we need to find a job, make money, and figure out how to manage that money. But how do we actually get the salary we want? Learning how to negotiate for a salary is probably the most important aspect of financial fluency, and ladies, this one's for you because it happens to be harder for us. Did you know that on average only 7% of women negotiate their salaries while 57% of men do? We know that women only make 78 cents to their male counterpart's dollar, and negotiation is one way to level the playing field. Simply put, negotiation means asking for what you want, or rather, asking for more than what you want. This can often be a really daunting idea, right? You may be thinking, I am just a 20-something who has no experience in the industry, and yet I'm going to ask this professional who is twice my age for more money than he is willing to give me? No chance. Okay, well, here's the thing. You have to. My negotiation trick is threefold. 1, do your research. This means know what the average in the industry is and what is a reasonable ask. You don't want to go into an ice cream shop and ask them for a $500K a year salary. At the same time, you don't go into an investment banking interview and ask for minimum wage. You need to research ahead of time so you sound credible. Asking people how much they make can of course be awkward, but I recommend starting by looking at websites like Glassdoor and Salary.com and following up with individuals in your network so that you feel comfortable asking. 2, practice. You need to be confident when you go in to negotiate and want to make sure you are prepared. Practice, as we say, makes perfect. My recommendation is not only to role-play asking for the salary increase, but to also just practice asking for things that otherwise may make you feel uncomfortable. As women, it's tough to ask for help, so practicing in everyday situations will allow you to feel more comfortable and less anxious when it comes to negotiations. Examples may be asking for changes to menu items at a restaurant, or borrowing something from a stranger like a pen. Another trick is to imagine you are asking for someone else. Studies show that women lack in personal advocacy but far exceed men in advocating for other women. So pretend you are asking for a friend and see if this makes you feel more confident. 3, the bigger ask. You know that number that you think is a good ballpark? Now add a little bit to it. You always want to ask for more and settle for a little less. The best way to approach this is by explaining to the potential employer not only how you will gain, but how they will gain by having you. Make this a win-win situation. Negotiating for a salary is so important because if you think about it, your first job salary pretty much determines what you'll be making for the rest of your life. If you start out taking the base salary you are offered, then your next promotion will also likely reside at the bottom of the pool. And even if you switch to a new company, you will still report a salary on the low end of your worth. However, if you start out making more, who knows where you may end up? I know that this week may have seemed a bit irrelevant to financial fluency, but if I know anything, it's that in order to learn about saving, spending, investing, and so on, you need to actually have some cash. Now, head out into the real world and start asking for things, ladies.